And it's midweek already. Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to The Pulse. We are coming to you live from our studios here in Accra on your digital terrestrial TV because we are free to air on DSTV channel 421, GOAT TV channel 144. This is Joy News, independent, fearless and credible journalism. Coming up this afternoon on the program, Electoral Commission of Ghana reveals some political parties are on its radar for sanctions due to their failure to comply with the Political Parties Act 2000, which requires that political parties open offices in at least 2/3 of districts across the country.
Commissioners are going out of their way to pay visits to the political parties' offices at the national level and at the regional levels as well.
Well, stay with us for more on this. This afternoon, we'll also hear from the leadership of two lesser-known political parties here in Ghana who may be on the brink if the sanctions are applied. And President Akufo-Addo may be compelled to use commercial flights for all of his foreign travels for the next 4 months, as JoyNews is learning that the presidential jet is due for a major repair work.
Long-haul journeys, I said to the people of Ghana that we have advised the president to hold on with that one. But for short-term journey, that's the aircraft uses. So for internal flights to Burkina Faso, to Mali, even to South Africa, which is like 5.5 hours, the president used all this type of journey.
Also on The Pulse this afternoon, we're revisiting the age-old conversation. Is this the time to purchase a new presidential jet? That's the question we are asking. In the meantime, the president has broken his silence on the last weekend's flooding incident in Accra with a directive to metropolitan and municipal assemblies to get to work immediately. We'll hear from the president on the matter. I am Blessed Sogah. This is The Pulse. It's brought to you by Global Communities, Dignilu, Affordable Safe Sanitation. Don't forget as well that this afternoon we're streaming on all of our social media platforms. It's at Joy News on TV and also on YouTube as well. Tweet at us with the hashtag The Pulse. My personal handle is at Blessed Sogah. Always a pleasure serving you here on The Pulse. Please stay. And thanks for joining us this afternoon. President Akufo-Addo may be compelled to use commercial flights for all of his foreign travels in the next 4 months, as JoyNews is learning that the presidential jet is due for a major repair work in Europe. Now, since 1962, the Republic of Ghana has had at least 4 presidential aircraft. The DH-125, which is used by Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Fokker 28, which was used by General Achampong in 1976. And then we also have the Gulfstream 3, which was purchased in 1998 and sold in 2006, after the then Kufuor administration described it as a flying coffin. Well, this time round, we know that currently, as we speak, in 2008, the Falcon 900 EX Easy aircraft was purchased and has since served at least 2 heads of state, including our incumbent president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. But now government is raising concerns that that very aircraft, which we're talking about, is no longer fit for purpose and would have to be flown to France, where it will be undergoing some major repair works until at least October 2022. Here's Defense Minister Dominic Nitu.
Long-haul journeys, the people of Ghana that we have advised the president to hold on with that one. But for short-term journey, that's the aircraft uses. So for internal flights to Burkina Faso, to Mali, even to South Africa, which is like 5.5 hours, the president used all this type of jets. Nigeria, everywhere, that's where the president uses. So it is never true the president doesn't use. Always. In Africa, he's always used only.
But in the long term, the approach is to ban another one.
I think that by the time I finish with my consultations, and I believe before the end of the year, I'll come out with what I've consulted everybody and what.
I remember that you said you wanted to build a bipartisan consensus around it.
No. I wanted to finish the consultations and make sure that the people of Ghana tell me that this is what we're all looking for. Okay. It's not just bipartisan consensus.
You want to carry Ghanaians along the process?
It is very important that we carry Ghanaians along the process. Protecting the citizens of Ghana is very important for the military. God forbid, if anything happens to the commander-in-chief, the military will be the first group of people to be blamed. We hope nothing will happen. We are sure that nothing will happen. We are doing whatever we need to do to make sure that nothing will happen. But in the interest of the Republic, it is important, as I said before, to give the military what they need to protect you and me, including the president.
Well, so that's the clear indication we're getting from government on this matter, but given the recent controversy surrounding President Akufo-Addo's foreign travels, will the purchase of a new presidential jet be a solution to the challenges that we're facing now? Joining us now is Dr. Emmanuel Bombande, international relations expert, a senior mediation advisor to the United Nations, who also one time served as Ghana's deputy foreign affairs minister. It's such a great time to be talking to you, sir. Now, a lot of views have been expressed, varied ones, of course, about the optimum travel style of presidents from developing countries such as Ghana. But, I mean, speaking from experience, is there generally a standard for presidential travels?
Thank you so much, my good brother, and good afternoon to all your viewers. So, first of all, to respond to your question, internationally, the standard is that the Air Force of each country manages the travel of senior government officials, including the president. And so in many places, we use presidential plane to replace government plane or high-level VIP travel. And this is for a simple reason. It is not just the security of the president, but it's also about providing the president the means and the capability to perform the duties of a head of state, both internally and externally. When I was deputy minister, I traveled with the president then, John Mahama, to N'Djamena, one of my numerous. Now, between Accra and N'Djamena, you don't have commercial routing that can send you and bring you back. The president wanted to be there for a meeting and return to Accra the same day, because the following morning he had a function in Accra. So the idea behind the government plane is you facilitate the travel of your president, not because he's traveling, but because he must travel within the schedules that a head of state must fulfill. So if you bring that back into the context of our conversation, there has been no problem at all whatsoever about facilitating the travel of a president in a presidential jet, both internally and externally. The problem in our context has been the prohibitive and profligate, so to speak, paying for that travel. And you put that at the level of Africa. And so the question then for me is, one, we have made it a problem by making the institution responsible, which is the Ghana Air Force, to be often silent on this matter and bringing it into the domain of politics. And the moment you subject such a conversation into politics, you get a divided opinion. And that's why we always advocate for strong institutions. Let the Ghana Air Force determine how they facilitate the travel of the president, and that determination is then approved by the executive, which is the government in authority each time we are in our democratic dispensation. But when you put it the other way around, when the conversation is led by the politician and the institution responsible is silent, what then happens is, rather than appreciating the full value of how the president should travel, we make it a political issue. And that in itself is a problem.
And you are the expert now, so you'll be able to advise us. Is the idea to have, presidents travel in comfort? What's the ideal situation? I guess that's what a lot of people, and including Ghanaians as well, are not too much educated on when it comes to diplomacy and what the requirements are for a head of state.
The main purpose from country to country, when we now talk, as you asked me, about standard practice, then varies.
Right.
Yesterday, President Joe Biden returned from Asia to Andrews Air Force Base. He was traveling on a Boeing 747. But that is because he is the president of the United States, the wealthiest country in the world, where the Boeing planes are made. We are the Republic of Ghana, highly indebted. So we want our president to travel just like citizens of the United States want their president to travel. But the plane the United States citizens give to their president to travel through their taxpayers' money is in abundance. We don't have that. And that's why the institution then is looking at how our president should travel, not on the basis of comfort, but on the basis of security, expediency, and within time schedules of the president's agenda. And that is why even when you talk about servicing of the plane, some of the servicing is done in the intermediate, sometimes every 6 months, 3 months. But in between, you have a more elaborate overhaul,
Right.
in order to keep the conditions of the plane uppermost in performance.
Well, at least that may not happen anytime soon because we don't have the presidential jet now. We know that it will be flown to France for some repair works, but we know that the alternative has been subject to controversy. The president's choice over the years has been a rented jet. So given the economic times that we find ourselves in, would you advise the president to continue on that tangent?
So my response to you is this. It is not about the renting of the jet. It's about what jet is rented based on our own economic exigencies. Otumfuo Ashantihini just went to Memphis and returned, though in his case, he's not using the taxpayers' money. The jet he used, I don't know whether you saw it, but Ghanaians saw it when he was welcomed back in Kumasi, was fairly a moderate, good jet, but not a luxurious, expensive jet. And nobody has a problem with that because Otumfuo traveled to Memphis to come back and continue with his traditional rule in Asanteman. And Asanteman people have no problem because they can afford a plane that is commensurate with what is possible. Now, my proposal is the issue is not about the rented jet. The issue is how can Ghana continue to provide for the president the facility to travel within the means that we have? And so if I use the example of Otumfuo, I'm simply saying it can be a moderate jet. It can be a smaller jet for him and his very close associates for the purposes of functioning in his duties as president.
Right. And
that is what is happening everywhere.
And that could also include the commercial option of flying in some other commercial flights as well. But there are concerns about the security implications. Wouldn't we have challenges if we allow our president, for instance, to go on commercial flights?
No, but you are right in the option of the commercial flight because the security parameters that are in place for a commercial jet out of Kotoka International Airport will then be, in my view, upgraded for the purposes of the president boarding the plane. The issue is not the security of the aircraft. The issue is making sure that your president boards the aircraft, travels, and when he lands, he is then received and provided with the same security arrangement. Now, interestingly, he did this a few weeks ago. He went on United Airlines directly from Accra to Washington. And presidents have done it throughout. John Kufuor, Atta Mills, John Mahama. So that for me is never an issue. But there are also other alternatives that Ghana Air Force, given the parameters as the institution responsible, can explore. For example, when the Falcon executive jet manufacturers are overhauling your plane that will have a long duration, you can negotiate with them for a replacement of the aircraft. But the replacement will be the type of aircraft that you purchase from them. And you can negotiate for that moderate type of aircraft that we are talking about. You can lease a plane that is relatively much cheaper and commensurate with the use of the president within the context of what we are talking about in terms of the institution responsible providing the policy options for the executive to approve. What I think Ghanaians have a problem with, and we should re-emphasize, is that when we have economic difficulties and we are indebted, but then we see the president traveling in a very luxurious jet, it sends the wrong signals. It makes people to feel that the executive is not sensitive about the plight of the people. That is where the problem is, and not how the president travels.
So how about finally solving the problem once and for all? There's the big debate as to whether or not this is the time to purchase a new presidential jet. What's your take on that?
Thank you very much for that question. So it goes back to what the defense minister was talking about. Carrying the people along, being transparent. Being transparent is, for me, absolutely important. That is why in Parliament, the opportunity was missed when the questions that were put were not fully addressed. And then somebody suggested, an honorable member of Parliament suggested that it was a security matter and Ghanaians don't need to know how much is paid for that jet. If you want to carry the people of Ghana along, be transparent with them all along, all the time. And so if the Ghana Air Force is the lead agency and the right consultations are done, and we all agree with the policy priorities for high-level VIP travel, we can then agree within an agreed time frame to purchase a new presidential jet. And this is not going to be out of the ordinary. Senegal is just arranging a replacement of their presidential jet. And I'm talking at the level of Africa. In South Africa, they have different options. Nigeria has up to 9 aircraft for VIP travel. But you see, the people are not completely uncomfortable with it, precisely because they know that the planes belong to the government. And when we say government, the problem in Ghana is we look at government to a particular political dispensation in office. When we say government, we are talking about the government of the Republic of Ghana. And presidents will come and go, but the president of the Republic of Ghana would always be there. So that together as a people, we now know that this is important for travel. But let me quickly add something here in a few seconds. Ghana is a significant country with diplomatic weight. And that is why, apart from the discussions we've had so far, there is something about your president flying with the Ghana flag or the coat of arms very, very much visible on your presidential aircraft, because we are a modern democracy in the community of nations. And so our president should be able to arrive at a function, because our Ghana Air Force that we are proud of carried him or her, delivered him for the functions that he was supposed to engage in, and bring him or her back safely to Ghana. That is part of the image of a modern democracy. And we should not subject that to partisan political debate, we should subject it to the collective development of the modern democracy of Ghana.
All right.
And some policymakers have failed in this regard. So when we were arriving in Glasgow, we should arrive in Glasgow with the Republic of Ghana carrying their president through the Ghana Air Force. It adds something to our negotiation power. It makes us to be a voice that refuses to be put off the international radar. So that when it is climate change, when it is terrorism and global security, and your president is sitting in the United Nations and speaking, he's speaking on the authority that within our means, however limited, we too have our weight and our respect, and we're able to move around independently, even if we are also interdependent with other nations of the world.
So we need a jet, right?
We need a jet. The Senegalese government, after consultations, is acquiring the latest new Airbus plane. Now,
all right,
listen to me. He's going to fly to Russia and to Ukraine to articulate the African voice in the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. When he's flying with the Senegalese flag, he's not just flying as the president of Senegal, he's flying as the chairperson of the African Union. It has a significance in the voice of Africa when he's trying to mediate in that conflict. So we need a jet, but we need a jet commensurate with consensus building, commensurate with our economic capacity and capability, and commensurate with how we are building a nation of inclusion, of everybody being part of, rather than some people arguing to make it look like he's more our president than yours. And that is why, whether you like it or not, we will go ahead. And that division has been part of the price we have paid all along up to this point.
Dr. Bombande, I'm grateful that you've been able to spend some time with us here on The Pulse. Thank you. Let's do politics now. The Electoral Commission says some political parties are on its radar for sanctions due to their failures to actually comply with the Political Parties Act 574. This act mandates them to have their accounting books audited and offices in 2/3 of the districts across the country. However, many parties have not met these provisions. Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jean Mensah, has been speaking on the matter. There's more in this report.
At the national center as well. And so we, as a commission...
Well, so that's the EC chairperson, Jean Mensah, there, but it's time now to hear from some other political parties as well. Joining us in studio is Dr. Hassan Ayariga, founder and leader of the All People's Congress. First of all, Kofi Akpaloo is founder and leader also of the Liberal Party of Ghana. Good afternoon, gentlemen, and welcome to the program.
Yeah, good afternoon.
It's been a very long time, but we've not heard from both of you. But let me start off with you, Dr. Ayariga. Is it the case that the APC has actually decided to be in the background working and reorganizing for the 2024 elections?
Oh, no, it's not the case. The case is that we've been working as a party, and as you are aware, the EC has given deadlines for political parties to put before them the allocations of party offices, constituencies, regional and national. But over the period, we've been working on the, after my COVID recovery, we've been working on police stations and constituency executive upgrading.
Reorganization.
Yes, reorganization. So that's what we've been doing for some time now. And I think it's going on well.
And now the Electoral Commission is telling us that some of the political parties are on its radar. I don't know if the APC has all of the offices across. Have you met all of these requirements that the chairperson is talking about?
I think that over the years, the APC has been one political party that has met the requirement of the Political Party Act 574, 2000, to make sure that we have 275 constituencies. As you are aware, in 2016, when the APC was formed, we had over 275 political parties all over the country.
Really?
And that was the only political party that got a final certificate. Because that time, Madame Charlotte Osei was so keen. No party was formed within the period Madame Charlotte Osei was EC chair. It was APC alone. So over the years, we have been asking the Electoral Commission to crack the whip, to make sure that political parties show political office. Now they are asking for us to, again, as you are aware, in 2016, 2018, we rented offices for 4 years. Then it elapses around the 2018, 2019 there. And then within that period, we had COVID, where what do you call it, protocols was that nobody should sit in offices and all that. So most of the parties didn't have to campaign or go to politics, all that. So now the political parties are supposed to present their offices to the EC. Of course, yes. The law says that if you look at the Political Party Act 574, Section 15.3c, it talks about political parties must within 90 days show offices of constituencies, district, and regional. But then it says, it goes to say that if you are unable to show offices of regional and national, you are subjected to disqualification. So what it means is that if any political party cannot show proof of offices in the 16 regions, including a national office, then it's subjected to disqualification. They can take they can take away their lands.
And as you're indicating, you've been advocating for the laws to be enforced, but the fear is it may affect our multi-party democratic system, particularly as we have some of the political parties that are not too matured and may not have the financial strength to be all across the 274, 75 constituencies, just as you have the APC, for instance.
I think over the years, the EC must also look at this law, because right now we have gone into a system where people can sit in their offices and do business. After the COVID, you now see that many people can do online businesses without even have to have offices. I think that the EC must consider the issue of having the 275 offices, maybe just the regional offices and the national office, and then the political parties can operate. But I think that they are more concerned about the regional and the national as for now. I'm not sure they are too concerned about the 275, because we all know that from now people use their phones to do business, people use their laptop to do business, people sit in their homes and can do anything. So I think that going forward, the EC must consider the issue of allowing political parties just to have the 16 offices, and then the national, and then they can operate.
And I guess that will include a review.
A review, yes, there should be a review. Yes, that's what
the law should be reviewed.
The law should be reviewed.
We'll talk about the aspects that you want to review, but let's also bring in Mr. Akpalo on this. You are an interested party. Obviously, the LPG is a political party, so I'm sure that you by now you're checking your books. Have you met the standards of the Political Parties Act?
Oh, yes, we have. We have as a party. Where you know our office, your office just around your area. Yeah, we have our office, our head office at Kokomlemle. That's Castle Royal Road. Actually, what the EC is doing, I mean, it's not new to some of us, because we believe that as a party, we should have offices. Even we don't need the EC to come and tell us we should have office, because you are operating an organization, and that organization, you should be able to have a place where people can easily reach you. Even it helps to brand your organization, especially when you are passing and then you see, oh, Liberal Party, you see our symbol, and I mean, it dawns on you that, hey, there are some guys
But
here.
as we speak now, LPG, for instance, Dr. Ayariga was just telling us that we're across almost 274, 275 constituencies. So that's national in nature.
Oh, yes, we have.
Do you have that as a
Oh, yeah,
political
we
party?
have. We have.
Are you not concerned about the others who may
Oh, no,
not
no, I'm
really-
concerned about them. I'm concerned about them. My party, we have offices across, but I shouldn't be speaking for myself alone. I should try to be in the shoes of others, because it's not everybody having the same strength. And but I can tell you, as a party, we have our offices across the country, and I think we don't have a problem now. For now.
So you support the calls for a review?
Oh, yes. It's something that we have been talking about since we joined this cause. We've been saying that we should look at the law again, at least. If there's somebody can have a national headquarters, it's up to the person to decide whether to keep on having more offices or not, because when you are running your own organization, you decide whether to have an office or not to have an office. But if we become like compelling people to have office, especially a newer party, it will take time to grow. So when you open an office, are people coming in there every day? And what are they coming in there for? You know, you have to take your time to build it, because I've never come across any organization that starts today and tomorrow is boom. No, you have to take time to grow. Even
So it's a matter of time.
Time. So the EC should look at that aspect and be lenient on. But you see, in this world that we live in, I remember when we were talking about this and PPP. You know, they were saying, oh, no, they should cancel other people's party. The other time, Bakosin Doom has the muscles, and then he was supporting them financially. So anytime we go to IPAC, they'll be insisting we should cancel other people's party. Now you saw their party office. You just showed it to the people.
So you feel it's payback time?
No, it's not payback time. But it's like whatever you are doing today, think about tomorrow. Because things will never be the same all the time. Things can change. Because I remember when I was growing, I knew one political party called CPP. It was the biggest political party. Now, it's no more. NDC.
I mean, to be fair, the CPP is still there.
It's there, but look at their size now. It has shrunk
You're trying to say that the LPG is more popular than the CP?
Oh no, I won't say we are popular than them. We are a new party. We are growing. But what I'm trying to say is that MPP can be big today, but they should know that maybe in 4, 5, or 10 years, if they don't do things well, it will go down. The same applies to
we'll be coming
NDC.
to that conversation about breaking the duopoly. But Dr. Erica, if we were to reform the Political Parties Act, what would you want to see changed first of all? There's a concern that the political parties, in terms of party financing, all the political parties, you don't seem to be adhering to the rules. I don't know for the APC. And then there's the concern about the party offices that we're talking about. So for you, where do we start from in terms of reforming the act that we have now?
I think that if I want to be very sincere with you, many political parties that are formed, some of them do not even exist. They only exist on paper, if I want to be sincere with you. Because even me here sitting as a political leader, there are many of them that I don't know their names. If you ask me to mention the rest of the political party, I can mention maybe 12. Those that I know that they are active. But beyond 12 or 13, I can't go more than that. Right? Because they are not visible, that's a fact. We don't see them, we don't even know their presidential candidates, we don't know their leadership. And that is why the EC is clearly strict on that. Right. But then, I think that these parties had the opportunity to register way before some of us. And they had the opportunity not to showcase their offices before. Right. So they had the opportunity to
at least build up.
Yes, but they didn't over the years. Because we're looking at a multi-party democracy where people have the right and the opportunity to choose among the 29 political parties, the parties they want to vote for or join. Yeah. But now, what I think the EC should do is what they are doing is right. I don't say it's wrong, visiting to try to locate the offices. If they find out that these parties that are serious and they are very active and they are on the ground, I mean, let's move on with those political parties. And those that are not serious and are not, they can probably withdraw their alliances for now, and they can reapply again if they get the opportunity to build up.
But there's concern about the political party financing. Some persons and experts
just
have said,
3 days ago,
a
week ago, I was part of the team that went an international conference to discuss political party financing. And it was organized by JIMPA, and then Conrad, the newest shifting from Germany, the German ambassador was there, and we were all discussing about political party financing. For me, we have advantages and disadvantages. The advantage is that many political parties will get the opportunity to also sell themselves equal platform, media platform, all the other platforms that will get to be able to showcase their parties and present their candidate. Now, on the other side too, many political parties will be formed because government is going to sponsor them. But as we said today, even flood is a problem for us to be able to resolve. Flooding is a big problem. Yeah. School feeding is a big problem. You talk about water, electricity. We are all having difficulties accessing that. Right. Government cannot even sponsor. Not to talk about using government funding to go and sponsor a political party who wants to be president or who want to be ministers or who want to be MPs. I think that if we decide to fund it, it's going to be a huge cost and burden to the government. We should put it in a way that we run political parties at a very low cost so that you don't have to spend so much money in running political parties, because we've monetized everything in politics. We are not voting for people with more ideas, but we are voting for people with more money than more brains. Those who have money, they get power. Those who have brains, they don't get anything. So we have come to a state where we are voting for people with more money than more brains. And that is a big problem. So government and the EC should try and find a way to cut down on campaigning, the cost of campaign. Right. Because there's so much. You see, look at the two major political parties, the NDC and the MPP. They spend more money in campaigning than developing Ghana.
Really?
Yes. You can do the statistics and see. I am telling you this. They spend more money when they are in government in campaigning than in developing our country. Today, people are richer than institutions. You see people who are CEOs of political institutions in this country, and they are richer than the institutions. You go out there, you go to East Legon, you go to Trazaco, you see people building every day, and then you go to the ministries and you see all our buildings. You ask yourself, is this a ministry?
Right.
Is there a government? Are we really using these buildings? Go to the ministries and see how some of these buildings. So there is so much wastage and corruption in political campaigns. And if I am president, all these things will stop. No, we have to divide a way of people giving them equal platform. If it is to give them radio or television airtime, everybody go there and speak.
We'll talk about the 2024 elections, which is fast approaching. But let me take your thoughts also, Mr. Kwalo, on the points that Dr. Hassan Ayarga has been raising about political financing. The fact that you have the two major political parties having access to a lot of funds, and they're using that as advantage over your party and others as well in the system. How do we tackle that problem?
Yeah, I think we need to distinguish between political party financing and then political campaign financing. You see, when it comes to campaign, it's different from political parties. So when people are advocating for political party to be assisted by the state or something like that, I think they are right cause. Right. But I don't think they are saying that we should finance your campaigns.
Yes. But it's obviously, because we are talking in the context of reforms, the EC should not necessarily just be interested in auditing your accounts.
No,
obviously,
they should.
The funds that also come in.
No, they should.
Right, okay.
They should. They should be interested in our finances.
Right.
Okay. But what I'm saying is that political campaigns should be distinguished from political party running day-to-day activities.
Administration, yeah.
So administration. So that part, government should be interested in supporting political parties, so that because we need to have a multi-party state. But when it comes to your campaign, the campaign is you are trying to sell yourself out and you want to whatever. But political parties, it's not one person's property, it's for the state. So it's something that belongs to the state. The state should be interested as to how it is being run and then how they get money to run those activities. Especially like we are supposed to get offices across. Why should the EC be interested we having offices across? Because they have to come in and support. Are you okay? So the state should give political parties money to have offices, have staff, and all those kind of things. But when it comes to campaign, it's our responsibility. But here, the state is not doing that because the state has a responsibility. It's like even churches. The state have a responsibility to make sure they enter into their books to see whether they are doing those right things. And that's why churches, we treat them as a charity.
Yeah, and non-profit.
Non-profit, because we believe that everything going there should be regulated. But here we don't do that, and then churches, people go there in the form of milking these people, you know. So I think I support the idea that political parties need to be assisted by the state. No, I'm not saying they should
but
help
how about
them.
the cost that Doc is referring to?
No, because because it's expensive. It's expensive running political party office. Are you okay? Because if you have an office all over 275, and assuming you are paying 100 cedis per office every month, it's 27,500.
Operations would definitely.
Let me.
It's 27,500 a month. So in a year, you're talking about 3 million or something like that, or maybe 300,000 or something like that. And
okay, I've been prompted that, and I'll come to give you the time to make the points, but I've been prompted as well that Director of Elections for the Electoral Commission, Dr. Sribo, is also on, just to give us a brief clarity on what it is that the EC is seeking to do. Thank you, Doc, for your time. So do you have the list of the political parties that you're likely to sanction if they don't comply? Have you put out some names already?
Too early to put any name down. As you heard yesterday, the top commission went to some of the head offices of the various political parties. As I speak to you, there are teams in the districts and the regions. I am speaking to you from Kumasi, just returned from Seville also. So we are visiting the district offices and the regional offices before the national offices. It is when we finish and we put our reports together. The law is clear that the political party should be national in character. So they should have national offices they should have offices in all the regions. And for each region, they should be operating in 2/3 of the districts in each region. So when we have put our reports together, that commission will know in reality who is obeying the law and who is not obeying the law before any sanctions.
And to what end is the EC pursuing this?
Come again?
To what end is the EC pursuing this?
Oh, so the law says you should be operating. So, and since 92, the commission has not been cracking anyway. And a lot of people have been accusing us of not doing anything and sleeping on our job. So commission this time wants to crack the whip. So the results that will come to the field will then apply the law as it exists what pertains.
Okay, so is it just about sanctions, or you have a grand plan of reforming the system? For instance, Dr. Hassan Ayariga, who's with us here, and Mr. Kpalu have been talking about the need to reform portions of the law, the fact that times and things have changed a lot. So are you considering that as well? Will that also come up?
For now, we are working with the existing law, political parties law 2005-74. That's what we are working on. And that's the law that everybody should comply with. Till the law is changed, that's the law we know.
So you don't expect to change anything or ask Parliament to try and make some reforms?
For now, we are working with that law.
As we speak now, on your books, how many political parties do we have?
If I'm right, we have 32 parties in our books and 15 coming in.
32 and let's get that clear, sir. 32 political parties, and you have 15 more applying to come on board?
Yes, please.
Well, so that may be shooting the number to 47 political parties in Ghana.
And I can assure you that don't be surprised that you get over 60 before 2024.
Over 60. We may get over 60 political parties.
Yes, but when we look at the law and we will not get there.
So is it that the EC is intimidated by the numbers, and that's why you are now taking up the law to enforce
if it is handed, everybody is abiding by the law, you don't have any problem. We don't want you to be in existence when you are not obeying the laws governing the country. These political parties are formed to come and govern over you and I. So if you want to go govern over you and I, then you should be using the law. So we are talking of the law. If you are not ready to go by the law, then you don't need to exist.
Okay, finally, we know that some of the political parties, namely the NPP and the NDC, have some sort of a leverage over the other political parties in terms of financing and all of that. Are you going to give a leeway to these lesser-known political parties?
You are telling me, as far as you are concerned, we treat all of them equally. If whoever you are with, ask them, when they come to our party meetings, we treat all of them equally. So we are going to apply the law equally.
Well, Doc, just hold on for me. I'm sure Dr. Hassan Ayariga would have a few questions for you on the point you're raising.
Good afternoon, Doc. How are you doing?
Oh, you are putting your name off, my brother.
I'm trying to understand the Political Party Act 2000, Act 574. If you look at it, Section 15, Section 1, it says, I'm going to read as it is.
Okay, right.
Maybe there are some loopholes in the English language here, but I'm going to read as it is. It says, within 90 days after the issue 2(8) of a final certificate of registration, a political party shall furnish the commission with details of existence and location of its national, regional, district, and constituency offices. Then 2, it says a political party shall within the period specify its subsection 1 submit to the commission A, the names, title, and addresses of officers at the national, regional, district, and constituency level, and also has such other levels of organization at the commission may direct. And B, the name and addresses of auditors of the political party. But I'm interested in the 3, 15.3. It says, where a political party, A, refuses or neglects.
Right. Let's try and get that.
Yes.
So we'll try and get the details for you shortly. But Doc, just hold on for us. Dr. Ayariga will put up that question shortly so you can address that briefly. You're talking about Section 15,
yes, 15,
I guess. 15.3.
15.3.
As you refer
to. It says, where a political party
We'll get to that shortly. You have
refuses
that.
or neglects to comply with this section, or B, makes a statement in a matter submitted to the commission under this section, which is false, or C, this is the interesting part, has refused, neglected, or failed to establish or maintain a national office, or to establish or maintain a regional office in every region, the commission may cancel the registration of that political party. Here, it did not talk about constituency or district.
So the focus for you is on national.
So what it says here is that it can take away or cancel your registration if you do not, if you are unable to maintain a national office or a regional office, or then they will take off your license.
Dr. Akpalo, Dr. Sripo, let's take your concerns, your response to that shortly. Then we'll hear from Mr. Akpalo.
The law with me, but if he has the law, what about the portion that says that the political party should be active in at least 2/3 of the party?
You have to read that one to us.
Yeah, but he's saying that if you look at the spirit of the law, it appears that the focus appears to be on the national quarters, maintaining the national.
That says that it should be active in 2/3 of the district. It's the same law.
So where are you placing the emphasis?
If the district doesn't matter, why would you say that it should be active in at least 2/3 of the district? Don't worry. When we get there, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll cross it.
We'll see how we'll cross that. But Mr. Akpalo also has a
question. But I also want to
yes.
add that that's not the only way you can be deregistered. There are other financial issues in terms of submission of returns, in terms of submitting audited accounts, in terms of submitting returns. 3 months after participating in election or by-election, whatever. All these are all going to be considered. So all the political parties were written to submit all of them. So we will not take a decision based on only offices or any other law in place as far as the CI Act 574 is concerned. So they should.
So if we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. That's what you're indicating. So for you, it's not necessarily about maintenance, but we'll get to the details of it. Let's bring in Mr. Akpalo, and then we'll get more of the concerns that you're raising.
Actually, I don't think the EC is much interested in deregistering a political party. But I think what the EC is looking for is how we work as a political party. They want to see some seriousness in what we are doing. And I think we should all support them to do.
But do you have a question for Dr. Srivo?
Oh,
in terms of clarity?
No.
Okay, then Doc, let me pick up your thoughts on this. The portion and section that Dr. Ayariga was referring to says that you may cancel the certification of a political party if they fail to maintain the, and he's giving me the document now to read to you, maintain a national office, or in terms of actually the regional office as well is also included here. That's the basis upon which you may cancel the registration. So his argument is that if you...
That's why I made reference that there are other parts of the law and other houses which include even the finance. But I just wanted to call your attention to the fact that part of the lawyer is talking of is that they should be active in at least 2/3 of all the districts, each region. So it's also a requirement. They should look at that one.
Are you going to engage the political parties on this exercise that you're embarking on?
All the political parties know that whenever we finish research, inspection, the rest, we don't do it arbitrarily. We engage them for them to know that these are the issues that they will take a decision. So,
and we know that there's an IPAC meeting happening in a few days from now, on the 1st, as we're being told. Will that feature? Will that feature prominently?
I didn't get that one.
I'm asking if these concerns will feature when you meet on the 1st of June as you go for an IPAC meeting.
Like I told you, we are on the 1st. So I am the one leading the inspection and other things. So by that time, we will have put our report together.
Okay, but,
so
what's the timeline? What timelines are you looking at in terms of achieving what it is
we are planning that by mid-June, we will have finished. We have put our report together and we'll submit to the committee.
Okay, then we'll have to leave it until then. We'll come back to you, of course, Dr. Srivo, quick with that. But obviously, these are the fallouts. But let's look beyond that and talk about. But you wanted to make an intervention.
You know, when my comrade Akpalo was talking about political party financing and government should come in
and support the political parties.
How is government going to do that? How is the sponsorship going to be? Are we going to be giving equal money to every political party, or there's going to be a criteria in which money is going to be disbursed to political parties? Because so far as I'm aware, like he said, the political parties are seen. Now, when you look at sometimes the EC themselves comes out with law and say that political parties with representative in parliament can do A and those without cannot do B. It's not. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in. I'm coming. It doesn't even exist in the laws. I am looking at the laws. When you ask him to show us where exactly he is unable to read, I am able to read to you. Now, the EC themselves are making campaign very expensive for political parties. If you remember the last election, I had to petition the EC, telling them that the filing fee of 100,000 Ghana cedis was too much. What is the income level of a normal, ordinary Ghanaian who works in Ghana? Then you were asking for 100,000 for presidential, and you're asking for 10,000 for parliamentary. Look at our status. Look at the income salaries, and look at how public workers, their salary. You cannot just come and start giving filing fees without subjecting it to parliamentary approval.
That's what you wanted, right? That's what I was Let's find out from Mr. Kpalu himself how he expects that plan to work. Dr. Yariga says your plan may be faulty.
Actually, if the Electoral Commission seriously want to regulate political parties and how we operate, and then I believe political party administrative costs, the state should be able to take responsibility, because we build parties not for ourselves. We build parties for the state. Okay? We build political parties not for we the individuals. We build it to
for the people, you say.
Exactly.
But don't forget that, for instance, if you open the floodgates now, you're going to create the avenue for, say, for instance, the bigger political parties, so-called, who have had the experience of governing this country, to continue to fund their parties more than they would fund you.
Yeah, because
already
they are doing it. Already they are doing it. Okay? Now, we need to have 275 offices, 16 regional offices, and national office. MPP, NDC, LPG, APC, we all have it. Is that not it? But who is paying for what? We are paying our own. Okay? MPP and NDC, with a twinkle of an eye. Okay? Somebody can just bring the money and then pay for all those. Are you okay? So, how can we build a multi-party state? Are you okay? Because they have been there ages, and they have the numbers. Even if their members are to maybe contribute 2 cities for them to raise them, and they will easily do it.
It will be easier.
Yeah, but we are not building a dual party state. We are building a multi-party state. So if you are building a multi-party state, we should allow.
Everybody should benefit. That's your.
Yes, we should allow other people to come in. Okay, we should allow other people to come in. We shouldn't
close the door.
Close the door, and then also take it that some people don't deserve. Okay, because when you go to United States, let me tell you, in the last election, over 144 political parties contested the United States elections. But some people think that it was only Democrats and then Republicans. It's not true. If you go to America, over political parties are there. When you come to UK, we have so many political parties, but they are operating. The states sponsor them. Okay, so I'm not saying states should sponsor our campaigns. People should get me clear, you know.
But
let me right.
The operation of the political parties should be supported.
Exactly.
Let me remind Kofi something.
Okay.
Until 2012, the EC used to give vehicles to the political party to support their campaign. Now, even government themselves cannot sponsor the EC. If the EC send a budget to government, government is unable to fulfill it. So how are they going to sponsor the political parties again? Even when the Electoral Commission, the body, the institute mandated to supervise election, is unable to get enough fund. You can ask them, the EC now. I'm sure they are struggling to get even resources to even go around to inspect our offices.
So I'm sure
they themselves don't even have 275 offices in every constituency.
Anyway, these are issues that we will explore later on, but we need to also talk about 2024. It's approaching really, really fast. Let me start off with you, Mr. Kpalu. What's the plan of the LPG? Are you contesting that election? And do you see the duopoly breaking already? The governing NPP says they are breaking the 8. So it appears they want to stay even beyond the 8-year political cycle.
Yeah, LPG. I mean, we started our campaigns already.
When you say LPG,
yeah,
right.
Now, when you say LPG,
okay,
you say Yankonkwa. When you say LPG again, you say Somiha. But this time around, when you say LPG, you say Shrine and Soma. Because we change our logo.
You've changed that?
We changed our logo to Star. Yeah, because
you've given the EC.
Yes, we've given the EC, we've informed the EC that will change our. Now if you drive past our office, you see that it's, the new logo is Star. So we change it to Star because.
So you're ready for the 2024?
Oh yeah, we're going to win.
You're winning 2024?
Now you yourself, you know what you're going through in this country. You know, and the guy watching me this afternoon to know they're all going through, and they don't see any alternative apart from LPG, because we have the solution that every child in this country will be paid child benefit.
Unemployment benefit.
Unemployment benefit. Those who are not working, we'll pay them money.
LPG is going to do that?
We'll do that. The reason why we're going to do that is that we want to put money in the system, just to stimulate the economy. Look, now we have inflation in this country, but we have been made to believe that anytime there's inflation, because there's too much excess money in circulation. But if you go east, south, west, and north, people are saying they don't have money. Okay. So where is that inflation?
So the option should be the LPG. We need to go.
Put money in the system.
Right. So if Ghanaians go to the polls briefly, what should they remember as they cast their ballot?
When they are going, they should think about themselves. That the future, they are voting for the future. And voting for LPG is for the future. Because if you vote for NDC or you vote for MPP, you get the same results.
APC is here.
APC, they will come and join me. And for that one, they will join me because he alone cannot do it. So he has to join me and then work together
we need to go
and break the duopoly.
Okay, then let's hear from
I think that he's forgotten that over the period, myself and him included.
He says you need to join the LP.
No, I'm just reminding him of something.
No, we have to join forces together.
He's forgotten that we've been in talks of how to bring a third force.
And break the duopoly.
So we're talking about 10 political parties coming to form.
That has started?
Yes, that has started. He's aware.
So what's going to happen?
What we intend to do is that to get 10 political parties to represent one party, to form an alliance to have one party. And these 10 political parties will now go into election. Among the 10 political parties, every party will present its flag bearer. Then these 10 flag bearers will now go into a contest to elect a flag bearer among them. To stand for the alliance party, to go into the...
Are you able to briefly, because we don't have the time, are you able to name the political parties?
Yes, I have a name of the
so
APC, the LPG, the GUM, CPP, PNC, GF, what's the name of the Nana Kuneji's party?
NDP. NDP has also joined.
Yes, we put all of them together. He's talking to some, I'm talking to some.
Right.
That is what we intend to do. Until then, if we are unable to fulfill that, that is where I can come and tell you that I will go as APC in the
So we should be expecting an amalgamation of 10
political parties coming together, so that we can have 3 parties in the next election. That's the NDC, the MPP, and the Alliance Party, which consists of the 10 political minority parties that will come together.
That will be a major force.
Yes, we are.
So we're setting that the NPP
will lose. I'll put that in motion.
We're setting that the NPP will lose the 2024 elections.
Of course.
So what's your message to President Akufo-Addo?
I think that he has done, a lot of Ghanaians are very disappointed in him, because many people believe that with his level of experience in politics, his understanding of politics and the law, things should have worked better. But now, I think that this country's lawlessness is too high, a lot of hardship in the system. People are complaining. Even now, people don't want to talk anymore. People have become mute. We are living in a political of silence. Nobody is saying it. Even the media themselves do not want to talk anymore. Look at the fuel level, cost of fuel. Cost of kinky in the market is almost 3 to 5 cities. Water, you cannot, pure water is now 30, 50 pesos. Think about it. Where are we going? Every day, prices of goods are increasing and skyrocketing. Meanwhile, the salary of workers still remains same. How do you expect them to cope?
Okay then. Unfortunately, this is where we wrap up the conversation. You're still watching The Pulse here on the JoyNews channel. When we return, we'll talk about some more issues happening on the political front. Please stay. And thanks for staying with us here on The Pulse. Now, the Achimota forest controversy remains on the front burner. This afternoon, we're exploring two fresh angles. First of all, the feasibility of turning the forest into an eco park. We'll be speaking to Kojo Bonsu, the former mayor of Kumasi, and whose regime the beautiful Rattray Park was built. He's calling for some changes to be done. Then we'll also hear from the Ni Odoi Kwao II. He is the head of the Ni Odoi Kwao family of the Osu area, who now say that the land space at Achimota, where the forest is, does not even belong to the Owo family. I'm sure that by now you've heard about that argument going around that the original owners of the land is the Owo family. So they'll be joining us to explore that. But first of all, let's hear from the former mayor of Kumasi, Kojo Bonsu, who is joining us now via Zoom. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. So you've decided to also wade into this controversy. We've heard from a number of figures on this matter on what could possibly be done about this strategic piece of land. But you say we should opt for an eco park. Why?
Yes, because it has become a controversy. But I believe that if it's for Ghana, the land is for Ghana, and even if the old family is claiming part of the land, I think the government should form a consortium and do a very good eco park and give them an equity in the business, so that you don't give the lands to anybody, then somebody will go and build A here, B here, to create confusion. So I believe that eco park is the way for us to go.
And government is giving us indications that the reason for which they're declassifying the area is that we don't have the funds. So why not declassify and then give the periphery areas of the land to the original
finding
owners?
The money, it's something very easy with parks, because it can make good money. Finding money to build parks is very easy, and it will attract, to bring tourism. I mean, if you're doing, water parks and other things, you make money. So I think government should look at it as forming a consortium, giving the whole family an equity in it. If it's for to run or whatever, they should look at it from the business point of view, so that Ghana would enjoy out of that.
Some would say a lot of water has gone under the bridge already. We are even hearing of some persons who are giving out this land to other private individuals. So it appears that the land has been dissipated already. So it's too late, isn't it?
It's very sad to hear what you're saying, but I think that whatever the situation, there's a law in this country that if government decides that they want to use the land for anything for government, they will be able to acquire it easily. And it's something that they can talk with their own family or whoever owns part of the land, so that they can put it together. Then the consortium would control the park, because you can't just get up and give it to anybody. Anybody would do any design, and it should be well coordinated.
Already we're hearing from some members of parliament on this. For instance, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa talks about the fact that we need to go beyond the controversy and initiate policies that would outrightly ban the sale of state lands. What's your take on that as well?
I agree with Honorable Ablakwa, because you see, if government have good lands and they can use it for something that will benefit the country, why not? Why do we give it to individuals for them to go and use it to build, sell it at exorbitant prices and mess it up? I believe government should come out with, I totally agree with Sami. I think government should be able to do something about that.
So you're a private citizen now. I believe that you have some ideas. Are you willing to engage, for instance, the sector minister on this, so we explore any possible way of bringing in the eco investment that you're talking about?
This government will be leaving the system in a couple of years or 3 years' time. Let my government win. We'll come to power. We'll do a very good park for Ghanaians to enjoy.
But Kojo, I guess that's the source of the problem, the fact that politics has gone into this. Is that not simply the case, that we're politicizing a piece of land, which the original owners are also there asking for government to give the land back to them?
If any government who takes over or any government who's in power should be able to form a consortium with the families to be able to do business, to make sure that government gets its parts and the family gets their part, so that we don't mess it up. There's no politics in this. That is what I believe in.
So, finally, We know that Achimota may just be, of course, a portion of government's grand agenda of sustaining a green environment. They've talked about, for instance, planting more trees and the green agenda. What's your, assessment of the entire agenda and commitment that government has put out there, indicating that they want to green Ghana?
Green Ghana is a very good and a positive idea. In fact, I have been to the park and to the forest a couple of days ago. I've assessed the place. I mean, we have to look at the topography of the place. But I believe that if government says it's going to green the place,
Okay, well, it appears that we've lost touch with Kojo Bunzu there, but obviously the point has been made. His call is that there should be an eco-investment, green fund, to reinvest in the place and then give some equity to the family involved. But then guess what? We have a new revelation for you. Just take a look at this document. Well, it's very, very, very bulky, but it's bringing out new revelations about the original owners, arguably the original owners of the Achimota Forest Reserve that you know about. There's one family, the Odoe Kwao family, which is claiming that it has ownership, original ownership over the place. Ni Odoe Kwao, the second, is the head of that family. He's joining us now in studio to have a conversation. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Honestly, I have not seen this book before in my life, so I'm presuming that it has a lot of information. Just share that with us. First of all, on what basis are you claiming ownership over this strategic piece of land?
Thank you very much.
Right.
Ni Udwekwao family is not claiming sole ownership of the land.
Okay.
We are saying that the land in question belongs to the Osu Stew,
Oh, really?
in which Ni Udwekwao family is part of. So the book.
So it's like there's a history behind this very piece of land we're talking about.
Oh yes, there is history behind it.
Break that down for me.
We are saying that the Owu family had nothing at the Achimota forest. The Owu family that were claimed to petition the government for the land is not true. They have no business petitioning the government in the first place because they have nothing there from the records that are here.
So from the records you have, who are the original owners of that piece of land?
It is the Osu Stew. But the Osu Stew, it is made up of individual families.
Okay.
That include the Ni Odwekwao family.
Okay.
We have the Adjuate family, we have the Masupe family. So I have the families that claim when the land was built to be acquired. So those families.
And this dates back to which date? You can feel free to share that with us.
That is in 1921.
Okay.
You see, 1921 it started. Even it started in 1919. I think because of just immediately after the First World War.
Okay.
And these acquisitions started. Yeah. And you see, let me give you a background of the Owu family.
Okay.
There was a man called Ni Owu, William Owu, in Osu. And during the poll tax ordinance in 1839, when the colonial government decided that we should pay a poll tax to be used to develop Accra, we refused. And he was a little educated, so he acted as a spokesperson and an interpreter between the indigenous people and the colonial government. In the end, he betrayed his own people. So he was ostracized from Osu. And then he sojourned in Accra with the Bese people.
Okay.
Ni Owu himself died in 1867. And he had no child at his death. So nobody succeeded him. Ni Owu has nothing. He sojourned with the Bese people. So when this acquisition came in 1921, Ni Owu's sister's children constitute themselves into a Ni Owu family and came for
this land we are talking
for
about.
this land. Now, when they came on the ticket of the Gbese Manche, because it is the Gbese Manche who gave him a place as a refugee
to live after
and that place includes parts of the near the Achimota forest.
So how come that we are hearing of this new name of the Owu family? Are they the same people from within the same clan that you're referring to, or these are new sets of people that you have no idea about?
What I can tell you for a fact is that those who constituted themselves as the Owu family, who were dealt with in this document during the acquisition, they were giving nothing. What they were giving was that Gbese Manche sent him to go and look for a compensation for the crops of those who have made farms there and those who have little cottages and all that. And he went and bid for 4,000. But in the final...
4,000
pounds.
Pounds at the time?
At the time.
Okay.
In the final analysis, he was given 2,000 pounds, which I have it here. He was given 2,000 pounds, and he handed over only 100 pounds to the Gbese Manche.
And it's captured in this document?
Oh, it's captured in the documents that I have here. I will leave this document
Obviously,
with you.
yeah, we'll spend time.
Yes, so that you spend time.
Yeah, right.
So what happened was that J. Jackson, there was a judgment on the acquisition.
So this is
yes, this
so
is a judgment.
it's a colonial judgment.
It's a colonial judgment.
Okay, right.
Which I called from this document. Yes,
right.
I've numbered it number 3.
Yes.
Yes. I have 7 documents not numbering here.
Okay.
So what happened was that they were outright dismissed, but they got that initial amount of the 1,900, the 2,000. That is for the crops and other things.
Right.
So later on, when the acquisition, after the judgment and everything
was given,
they were out. Then they came back again. That they outright, you know, when they acquired the Prince of Wales, the land for the Prince of Wales College, now Achimota School, and then the University of Gold Coast, now the University of Ghana.
Right.
They said they need fuel wood to power their kitchens, to produce, prepare food for them. Right. So if you go to Achimota right now, where you have the forestry, their regional offices, you see that the trees are deliberately lined up. It was a deliberate... The Accra land is not a forest land. It is some, I can say, some useless shrubs and this thing that... So a deliberate attempt was made to put up trees to serve the purpose.
So it was an intent to make that place a green belt.
A green belt.
Right. But what's the acreage in question here? Do we know about that?
It's about 2,000 and over acreage.
And that's what your family is entitled to, the
Osu people. I'm talking on behalf of the Osu people
so
now.
This is not just a matter of
the
group of people
family
coming and
saying...
No,
I'm talking about the Osu stool, Osu people, because look at what I'm having. I'm having Osu names.
Okay.
The Osu family names.
Families.
These are families.
Right. I see over 12 or...
Over 12. They are 14.
14 in all.
And I have everybody's plan, side plan that was...
So there's even a side plan in
there. There are side plan, 14 indicating each one, everyone, this thing. And then the government at that time also made a composite plan and showed everybody. There's a legend that shows everybody's portion that they are claiming.
So if you hear anywhere, and now I'm sure you've heard that news, that government is saying the land originally belongs to the Owo family, you're saying that family is non-existent, or they're there?
Yes, it's a scam. It's a scam.
The name is a scam?
Yes, it's a scam. Because Owo family does not exist in Osu. That's number one. And they are saying that the Owo family petitioned them. I'm telling you, there are thousands and thousands of petitions that the Accra people have made to the government. Not even Accra people, the whole of Ghana.
Right.
Almost every tribe and every area had made petitions to the government for land to be released. Why only the Owu family? And look at the quantum. So we are saying that, okay, fine. We cannot fight government. If government want to release land, and they are sure they are releasing the land, it is not to the Owu family. It should be to the people of Osu.
So that's the position of the stool on this?
That's the position, that's why I'm here today.
Have you been able to identify the lead, the person who's going ahead to act on behalf of this supposed Owu family and is dealing with government?
We have not. We only hear of one John Asiedu as a legal representative of the Owu family. I Googled his name. He's not part of the legal fraternity in Ghana. So I don't know where he's coming from. Have you heard of any of the Owu families talking? This afternoon, I think I saw some communique by some people, including Neil and Tevan Dapwa, saying that they are also part of the Owu family, and so if there is anything, they have to be included. It means they don't know. They have nothing there. And I'm telling you, this is what is being happening in Ghana today. They find some family name. You see, when you look at the claimant, there is one Owu. There is Owu family, the first one.
The very first
The
name.
very first one. And these are all claimants. But the award of the...
So that's supposed to be George.
Yes.
William George Boy Owu, right?
Yes, William George Boy Owu.
Yeah, head of the Owu
family. Yes, at the time.
So there is indeed an Owu family.
There is it. Oh, so we are saying that they came. They came with their claim and everything, and they were dismissed because they committed fraud at the time. And if today there is an Owu family claiming the Achimota forest, then it is fraud. That's what we are saying.
And your assessment is based on the judgment.
Based on the judgment, it's fraud.
Going forward, what are we to expect from the Osu stool? Are you going to? Do you intend to engage government?
We want to go to court. We want to go to court.
You'll be going to court?
We will be going to court, even though we have some reservations. We will be going to court, and then we will petition the government as well. We will petition the government that, fine, if they said they want to release their land, we are all for it.
So what's the preferred mode for the Osu stool in terms of giving back the land? Is it the case that you want the land back, or perhaps you want government to redevelop this area so you have your share in it as the stool? What's the mode of giving back the land that you would prefer?
You see, where we are sitting down here in Joy FM, according to the Constitution, if government wants this place for the public good, he will come and acquire it.
Right.
And as the rule says, they will give you adequate compensation. So, why? If government wants to give the land back to us, it means they have nothing to do with the land. But you see, the hula balu about all these things is that the place serves some public good. By way of what? Draining the city.
And also being a green...
And being a green belt so that it can have a cover for carbon,
and all of that.
This thing, greenhouse,
and the climate,
this thing, and all that. So if that is the purpose, why, if they give it to the family, let's assume that they are giving it to the family, will they control what is the government or the district assembly in that area? What is the plan for that area? The family will still have to abide by the plan, even if it is given to whoever.
Yeah,
it
your
is
point
released.
is, after all, even if the land is given back, you will still have to...
You are subject to the plan of the area and everything.
Right.
So if it will be used to forest, it's the same thing.
But just that there must be adequate compensation, and you believe that should not be going to the Owu family.
No!
Now, have you gone to look for, the other families involved? Have you spoken and engaged all of them, and what sense do you get from them on
that
this?
That is the Osu stool. Osu stool, all these families comprise Osu stool.
Okay,
and we are together.
Sort of like from the same...
We are from the same stock. Right. Yes, so I'm speaking on behalf of the Osu stool. I have a stake in the Osu stool. Right. I am Niodwe the second. Our family, the Niodwe family, we own the primest land in Accra. from Asylum down, we call it the Akanecho lands. So even Jowulu, hitherto we were not selling land. Jowulu should not be a settlement area. Jowulu is a drain for the waters that come from the Aburi Mountains and the rest. It's a drain. So the water is collected there and enters into the sea gradually.
And this brings to mind the issue about what's happening in Accra. So many lands being taken and private developments happening all across. Is there also still worried about how some of these things are happening here in the national capital?
We are very much worried. We are very much worried. As at now, I can give you an example. You know, we have a land behind the WAEC, the Ridge Hospital.
Okay.
Yes, it is called Oduekwao Gong. That is Oduekwao Hill. We mine these stones there. The government, the colonial government took it and gave us 70 pounds per acre. It is 7 acres. Now, most of the roads in Accra here, the stones are carved from that place. They mined into a certain depth, deep. So the land was reclaimed. We have written petitions upon petitions for the land to be released to us. If government want to release any land, that should be that land. But you know what they do? They sell the land, they convert the land into their own companies. One company called Funland.
Because of legal implications, we may not.
Oh yes, okay, all right.
Mention the names,
yes,
right? But
okay.
Generally, that's
their modus operandi.
Right, happening. That anytime state lands are given back, then it becomes a conduit for
this thing. So when they don't genuinely hand over the lands back to the owners. They do it when there is a share for officials to. I'm not talking of political parties or this thing, but I'm talking of power. Those in power can be government officials, can be civil servants
as well,
can be even messengers and everything. Right.
Once they get the chance.
Once they get the chance.
Now, we know that the sector minister says he will be setting up a committee to investigate the matters. Are you willing to avail these documents that you have brought before us today to that committee to look into the matters?
Yes, I can tell you that last week, the minister came to your sister station, Asempa,
yes,
and said they don't have any documents on the matter. But they bundled around the 4,000 that the Uwu family received. So I called in and said, no. Once the minister has said this, we needed a rejoinder. So I'm saying that Uwu family never received any 4,000. So I am thinking that by now, the minister would have contacted our stool and the family. Because we also deserve that respect. We also deserve that respect. We are there before they came. We are there. We are there as custodians as well as rulers and everything. Before they were even born. Right. So they needed, if they want to do a good job, it's not every day we have to go to government and beg. We are not begging them. We have not written to them that they should release any Achimota land for us. But if they are saying so, we are saying that those are the wrong people they are going to release the land to.
Are you challenging anyone at all? Well, if you claim you're a member of the Uwu family, show up yourself and let's identify where exactly you're coming from.
So we are challenging both.
Are you throwing that challenge?
I'm throwing that challenge to both the giver and the taker. The giver and the taker. I want the Uwu family. Have you heard any of them speaking? Have you heard of any of the Uwu family speaking? No.
But recently they issued a statement indicating that they feel they have not been treated well. I'm sure that you've seen that
statements can be issued. Even the one they issued this afternoon, they said they are not in the know. So they must be included. There is one lawyer talking for them. So I want to, I will bet you, if you find those Owus who made the petition, let me know. And then I will come and meet them here. And then ask them questions.
Interesting points you're raising there. And I'm also interested in the history about the Achimota Forest Reserve itself. traditionally speaking, that area, does it hold any significance traditionally for which it has not been developed for such a long time? Because if you look at even the pictures that we're seeing right now, it looks well preserved. And this is not, I'm not sure this happened just over a day or a year or two. This must have been a plan to keep the place and to make it as it is today. Was there any traditional significance to that?
Yes, there is. We call it Musuko. Musuko. That is evil forest. Because our ancestors demarcated certain places as Musuko to preserve species of trees, certain animal species, and even to preserve the environment by a place holding water, a place in having fresh air and all that. So we have Musuko. Currently,
what's the name again?
Musuko.
Okay.
Evil forest.
So
yes,
the Achimota area was an evil forest.
Evil forest. You don't have to enter. And what happened was that when the acquisition was made, Accra lands, like I told you, you will see Bubuyashi. Bu, that is whole. Jowulu, a raven. Accra is made up of that rugged type of land. So when you have a place like the Legon is Ni Legon, that is Knowledge Hill. Yes, those places are a little higher grounds so that flooding and such things don't occur there.
But for Achimota, it was...
So that is why they chose that place to establish the Prince of Wales College, which is now the Achimota College, and then the University of the Gold Coast. So after the acquisition, the whole area was demarcated to protect the vegetation, and then, like I said, to provide fuel wood for the canteens and the kitchen of the... So what happened is that our people agreed. And that place served as a forest area where we go and have our quiet time and stuff like that.
So there is a tradition.
There is a traditional significance of that place.
Okay then. And going forward, now we know that the issue, as you heard from Kojo Bonsu, the former mayor of Kumasi, about some suggestions that experts are making that let's try and redevelop the area. Let's make it green enough, putting an investment there, make it a tourist park so that people can visit, and then there'll be an equity for the family. In this case, you're saying it's for the stool, so the stool perhaps will have an equity in that. Is that a laudable idea, an idea that the Osu stool will welcome?
Come to Osu and see the poverty and see how our lands had been taken and we are restricted to a certain small area which we are all struggling to survive in. If we have something that will give us income in order to improve our lot, why not? Why not? And that's what we are fighting for. That we never knew government had made such concession, because it's something we have been fighting over all these years.
Okay. Because we need to go, we just have a minute, but what will be your message to government for them to consider as we conclude this conversation?
My message to government is simple. Please, if you meant it, that you want to release land to the rightful owners whom acquisition was made, the EI 144, that land must come to the Osu stool and nobody else.
All right then. Thank you so much. That's Ni Odoi Kwao, the second head of the Ni Odoi Kwao family. And of course, you had the arguments there. We'll still keep an eye on this. You're still watching The Pulse. We'll return shortly after this break. And And we know that's another Wednesday, and of course we're focusing as well on the German-African relations. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz is in Africa, his first trip to the continent since becoming Chancellor. He brings with him a long list of wishes and hopes for relations between the two sides to get better. Let's learn more about it with William Glucroft, correspondent in Berlin with our partner Deutsche Welle. Thank you for joining us. Now, William, we know that a lot is going to happen in this trip, but where, first of all, is Scholz visiting, and what are some of the biggest issues surrounding this trip?
Well, this was a big trip for Chancellor Olaf Scholz, and it was a notable one that he went to Africa so soon into his term in office, when he could have been going to other arguably larger countries, more economically powerful countries and regions around the world. But he chose democracies in Africa. He made a point of that, telling DW actually in an interview that he wanted to support and strengthen democracies around the African continent. That includes Senegal, that includes Niger and South Africa, the three countries that he went to this week. And there are big issues on the table for both sides, and they're not new issues per se, but they are issues that have become more pressing, especially with the global economy in such turmoil, with inflation going up, with supply chain issues causing all kinds of problems around the world, and of course the war in Ukraine exacerbating those issues very much so. Really, food and energy security, food and energy prices was really the big thing that Olaf Scholz wanted to press home about and try to show that Germany and the European Union more broadly were supporting these countries in these issues, which, while in the European Union, food and energy, bad enough, but they are tolerable. In these kinds of countries around Africa, they're really a very big problem for people that have already been struggling in many ways economically and already been struggling with food and energy prices that are only going to go up since they are, many of them, so dependent on Ukraine and Russia for their food supplies.
And I'm really curious about this. What has come out of these?
Well, as always with trips like these, the proof is in the pudding, as they say. We'll have to see in the weeks and months ahead what actually kind of comes out of the things that were promised. Olaf Scholz is famous for being rather vague with his commitments and with his policies. But in Senegal, for example, he signed a new gas exploration deal, because of course Germany is very interested in diversifying its gas and oil imports and suppliers, and in return looking to support solar energy in Senegal. In Niger, the big talk was about military commitments, fighting Islamist insurgencies there. Of course, the EU is pulling out of neighboring Mali, but Germany is going to stick with a UN mission in Niger, which is largely a training mission for Niger military forces, which is something that Niger very much wanted. And South Africa, being such a large country, such an influential country, and having a long history, especially a colonial history with Germany and Europe, very much looking at the G20, for example, very much looking for South Africa's commitments to many of the West's priorities.
And what is the German government offering African countries that hope to strengthen relations between the two sides?
Well, Germany has deep interests in maintaining and building relations with countries like the ones he visited in Africa this week. As Olaf Scholz told DW earlier this week in an interview, he sees a world that's a multipolar world. That's not just a world of the US, China, Russia, and the EU competing for interests, but actually involving smaller countries from all around the world. He wants to see those countries step up and not only be takers in a global society, but also contributors to policy and contributors to the global economy. And that is what Olaf Scholz says he wants to support in his travels to these African countries this week. And of course, as the German government looks to diversify its energy supplies, especially, it has a lot of interests in countries like Senegal in gas exploration, and as well as supporting their own renewable energy projects like solar energy. So there are, of course, a lot of business opportunities. There's diversification interests. There are many, many, many reasons here that the German government wants to maintain and continue relations with countries, not only in Africa, but of course, all around the world.
Well, let's say about that, William Glucroft with our partners Deutsche Welle. But that's all we have for you here on The Pulse. My name is Blessed Sogah. Don't forget that we have more for you at myjoyonline.com.
Bye.